It is Levack and Goz. It's a Tech East Tuesday. Tech East Fire and Water Restoration. Your best way back to normal. Check them out online, tefirewater.com. Tis the season for rain, snow, and nastiness and all the crap and that Mother Nature will do to your home. And Tech East is here to get you back to normal. We're your best way back to normal.
Mark Kestis here.
What are you doing, guys? You talking about Mark Kestis here?
Before we went live, I was fixing my headphones and I'm like, oh, I got everything figured out. We're good to go. And then maybe not as well as I thought.
No, and then Mark Kestis here decided to interrupt the show. I mean,
hi, Kesty, how are you, buddy? Hey, there you go.
Hold on, there we go. I need some light in here. All right, nothing happened in football, nothing to talk about. No worries whatsoever. Probably, I mean, for me, I decided to watch football like the Raiders decided to play football. The first 30 minutes are all that mattered. Then turn it off. I don't think anyone told the Raiders it's not preseason anymore. It's not. They just turn it. Nothing. Okay, first half's over. We win. Let's go home, everybody. And that's that. Right? Deal. Good. I'm sure Ravens fans will agree. Just call it at that. Sound good?
The amount of defeated and undefeated teams, if you look at that list right now of teams that haven't lost yet, teams that have only lost, I feel like I'm like 2021, 2020, feels like we do it all the time, especially those first 2 weeks of the real mirage, right? The reason we made that Monday segment so long ago is because of stuff like this. Yeah, your Raiders are definitely in the mix there. Other teams are too. Do we save your Raiders for rapid reaction? Do we start with another team? What about the Buffalo Bills, Levack?
Yeah. Well, listen, enough of them already. They're so stinking good. The Bills are legit. And the beauty of what the Bills are doing, in my opinion, is not just how good they are. It's not just that they can go out there, against solid NFL teams and win. It's they have that chip on their shoulder. Like, they're angry. They're pissed off. Like, forget circling the wagons. Circling the wagons are defensive. The Bills are on the offensive. Even on defense, they're trying to kill people. Like, this is a Bills team that has fire, or as Zach Wilson's mother's friends would say, they've got that dog in them. This Bills team is legit. I don't think Tennessee's great. Don't get me wrong. I don't think 41-7 over Tennessee is like beating Tennessee the year before that. But still, they play angry.
You mentioned this is one of your locks this past week, too, that you said Buffalo would roll the Titans. Stinky Ryan Tannehill got benched during the game from Malik Willis. Mike Vrabel, people are like, we know he's a good coach, but man, he got his ass kicked. Everybody did. But that is about the Buffalo Bills. There have probably been a handful of times, maybe the last 10 years, where I've watched an NFL team and thought, whoa, they are significantly better than everybody else that I've seen so far in the NFL. That happened with the Chiefs team, the Mahomes rookie year. That was a Chiefs team where you're like, okay, they're better than everybody else. That Legion of Boom team, like that, maybe the second version of it, not even the one that was an underdog to Denver in the Super Bowl. That second version was dominant. Halfway through the season with
the Denver team that they beat was the dominant team that year.
Yes. That you know what? Denver's in that mix too. So Denver's in there, Kansas City's in there halfway through the season with Carolina when Cam Newton started dabbing and everything. Those are probably the teams over the last 10 years. Patriots is 15 years ago, that Moss team. I know it's 2 weeks, but Buffalo's in that conversation already as a team that looks head and shoulders above everybody else. Look at the two teams they beat. They beat the defending Super Bowl champion, smacked them in the first game of the season. Then they went out against Tennessee, who was the number one team in the AFC, and destroyed them. They're not beating up on the Jets or the Texans or the Bears. They're beating the best teams in the NFL in both conferences the last 2 seasons. The margin was on average 25 points. Like, we're looking at a 4-touchdown difference. I can't find a weakness in Buffalo. If you're out in Western New York, if you're part of the Bills Mafia, please let me know what the weakness of this team is, because then you're just finding reasons to complain. They are, if we did power rankings, it's Buffalo, then a big tier off.
Well, all right, so here's the deal, right? So this schedule, and I know we said it before the season started, you won at the Rams, you hosted and beat the Titans. Now you're going to the undefeated Dolphins. Then you're going to the Ravens. You are hosting the Steelers. Who knows? But then you're at the Chiefs. You got the Packers before you go to the Jets. I mean, look, the schedule makers looked at the Bills and went, oh, you think you're the best? Prove it. And they're going to get a chance to. Like Like all the teams that you are going to consider a power for this season, they're going to get them some Buffalo Bills. It's going to happen, and I don't know if anybody really wants that game, at all right now. Like maybe the Dolphins. If I'm the Dolphins, I want that game because people like me who still don't take them seriously, I want that Bills game. But everybody else, I would rather not see the Bills during the regular season. I'll wait. I'll see them when it's in an elimination bracket. Thanks.
I'm glad you brought up Miami because if Buffalo, and when they will lose, they're not going undefeated. Just the odds are against that happening. A team like the Dolphins is the perfect team to beat them. And now week 3, here we are with Miami and Buffalo potentially on the way. Divisional game, a team that comes off one of the best wins in franchise history of the past decade, with Tua playing football and having a chip on his shoulder and having an awesome game. Yeah, Miami seems to be the team. New England is not playing great, but I'm just careful of those divisional games. That's it. Like, that's it for Buffalo, because from Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs to the defense, I mean, Russo, the young kid from Miami, and Von Miller, oh, God, they're unbelievable. They're so good right now, Buffalo.
Can Von Miller keep it up the entire season? Like, I know he's not old, but he's football old. Like, the way he's playing right now is next level. Like, it's the intensity is a level you would not expect from a guy who is now on his 3rd NFL team.
This is Hall of Fame level. This is pass rusher, difference maker. Super Bowl 50 was a long time ago when he was the MVP of that game and sacked Cam Newton the strip and all that other stuff. Then last year was the Rams, where it felt like, okay, Von Miller and Aaron Donald, this is their last ride. And the offensive tackle and Weddle and everybody else, Whitworth, right? Like all these guys. No, Von Miller comes back and signs with Buffalo and seems just to be the same player. So I would go no, because I haven't seen it yet. Once I see it like a little bit of slowing down, I probably, but okay, Von Miller's not what he used to be. Nope, haven't seen it yet. That's how good he is.
Insane. Good job, Buffalo. You're looking pretty sweet right now.
What's more shocking to you, the Bills' dominance or that the New York Football Giants are 2-0 in the way they did it to get to 2-0?
It's the Giants. I mean, I think we all thought that the Bills could be good. I mean, like, can you imagine me going, "Oh, how can the Bills be so dominant?" You picked them to win the Super Bowl. Well, yeah, but that's later. Like obvious. This is what you hoped for as a Giants fan. Probably not what you expected as a Giants fan. 2, tough. I feel like the word grit is being way overused in the NFL this year, but 2 really gritty wins. And just, you've got a team that believes in their head coach, it looks like. And I don't know if we've had that for a long, not since like Coughlin, maybe not even Coughlin. Like, I don't know if they believe it or not. They were scared of him. This is a team that's going to war for their guy, and it's fun to watch. Daniel Jones, less stinky. Still not great, but less stinky. Like Brian Daboll, New York having a little love affair with Brian Daboll right now.
I know we mentioned last week about, the significance of the win in week 1 against Tennessee and where it means for the last 8 years of this franchise struggling. Week 1 felt like week 2, where Carolina felt like the better team for most of the game, but New York kind of just sticks around and they make a few mistakes, but not enough to cost them the game. And they're in it in the 4th quarter. They just got to make a few plays, and they do. And they get the opposing team out of their game plan, because Carolina could have just handed the ball off to McCaffrey constantly. And if you're a Panther fan, you got to be pissed because you're like, he's healthy and like we can give him the ball and we don't have to do all these weird plays with Baker Mayfield. Just give Christian McCaffrey the foot. They didn't do it. 2nd week in a row. Like, you could have said the same thing about Tennessee. Why isn't Tennessee just giving the ball to Derrick Henry? The defensive line's gotten better and they were dealing with some injuries for the Giants. It didn't matter. Those Wink Martindale, not to be confused with our pal Jeff Martindale. Fantastic job on that defense for what he's doing. It is fun. Like, Levack, when was the last time you and I could say the New York Giants are a fun watch? They are. The 4th quarter, they're interesting. Weird things happen, and they're finding ways to win, and it's a really cool team to follow now.
What, the year before McAdoo? Maybe before the boat, before the jeans and Timbs on the boat, they were fun to watch. No, and it's exciting. You kind of get a glimpse of where it's going. Do I think the Giants are going to be a playoff team at this point? I'm going to still say no. But if you're a Giants fan, you got to kind of look at this and go, you got cautious. Still got to be cautious. Did we finally hire the right head coach? Did we finally have the right people in place? It's been a long time. Is it finally now? Is it, don't you judge us or Joe judge us because we we started liking him, and all of a sudden his true colors came out, and he was a turd. Come on, help us out here. Let's go. I feel good about this. Like I'm wondering if he's going to be able to, make Daniel Jones an actual NFL quarterback, and somebody like Goz is going to have to look back and say, all right, fine, he can stay.
No. He still stinks. I like what you said, less stinky. No.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen instead is that this New York Giant franchise should be active at the deadline. And I know that's not Major League Baseball and the NBA. Like the NFL deadline is way, way more quiet. But if New York is in contention for a playoff spot with the expanded playoffs now with 7 teams apiece in each conference, and they're close, and you've got a bunch of players that this GM and head coach didn't bring in, get rid of them. Get some picks or get a player you want. That would be fun if the Giants are aggressive at the deadline and try to bring somebody in and dump Daniel Jones because he stinks.
Who will be in Carolina longer, Baker Mayfield or Matt Rule?
Baker.
Yeah, I think Rule's days are numbered at this point.
I had this text. It might have been to Sean Martin, actually, host of Pugsley's Pit, who's a Nebraska football fan. I said, here's what's going to happen. Nebraska's going to win like 2 or 3 games in a row, and then Carolina. Nebraska's going to keep losing. Carolina's going to win like 2 or 3 games in a row, and then Nebraska's going to offer him like an $80 million deal, and he's going to leave Carolina for the Cornhuskers, and that'll be a wrap.
Yeah, I could definitely see him jump ship and go back to college. Definitely see that. I don't know if it's Nebraska, but it's somewhere. He'll be back in college in no time.
And big game Bob Saleh Levack.
What's up?
He finally lives up to the name.
Keeping receipts, baby. I mean, that was insane. Like, so let me paint the picture of my enjoyment of the Jets-Browns game. We had owners meetings in Orlando. I had driven from Albany to Columbus, Georgia, the Sunday before. I don't remember what day it was. No, it was the Thursday or Friday before. Spent all that time there, and then Friday drove to Orlando. Owner meetings wrap up around 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. I hop in the truck. I throw on NFL Network, and I point north and start going. I'm listening to this Jets-Browns game going, oh, man, poor Jets. Like, you're so – who are you if Zach Wilson's there? And then they start coming back. And then they're on their way. And I believe the text to you in Boston, Dan, was, wow, Jets. And then they take the lead and win the damn game. Impressive. Flacco getting it done. Just remembering his Ravens days, his AFC North days, and saying, you know what, I'll screw the Browns one more time. I'm in for that. Let's do it. That was awesome. Good for the Jets.
I'm still, even on a Tuesday, trying to figure out why during the action in that Jets-Browns game, I felt more confident in New York than I did in Cleveland. Maybe because both franchises are dealing with the same things, backup quarterbacks, not a great tradition, trying to get better than what they were last season. All that stuff kind of fits both franchises. But even with New York trailing, I thought, maybe they'll make a play. Maybe Cleveland will blow this in front of their fans. Maybe that Brownie the Elf at midfield is going to look too weird and have some bad juju for the team. And sure enough, once they scored that touchdown where they're still trailing and they recovered the onside kick, I thought, okay, they're going to score. Like, they're going to win the game. There's too much momentum on this. The Jets feel it. The rookie Wilson from Ohio State, who's got the Ohio connection, scores the game-winning touchdown. It felt too much like the Jets were supposed to win that game. And Flacco, like you said, the ties to the AFC North felt so good. Cleveland, again, Nick Chubb, give him the football. Carolina and Cleveland should, share tapes. Just constantly hand up the football. It's not a punishment that you're good at running the football. But the New York Jets winning that game, they needed that. Like, if all 3 New York teams in action in week 2, if the Giants had lost to Carolina, it wasn't going to change their season, even though it's awesome that they're 2-0. If Buffalo had got beaten by Tennessee, people could look back and say, you know, it's just a bad matchup because they lost before to Tennessee. It's a weird double kickoff on Monday. You could have made excuses. I don't know what the excuse would have been for Jet fans if they fell to 0-2 and they had such a huge hill to climb up with watching how Miami and the rest of the AFC. That was a huge win in week 2 for what the team can do for the rest of the season if they at least want to stay competitive.
And Garrett Wilson looks like he might be a legit number 1 receiver. Like maybe Wilson and Wilson is a thing. They could get this thing going, but lots of positives in New York football for sure.
I love it. And we got the rest of the NFL to go over, a rapid week 2 recap. But before we do that, we got to give love for our friends over at Johnstone Supply in Troy. The fall is officially here, and that means the colder weather is on the way. Yes, you can still rock those hoodies and shorts, but your house needs to be prepared for that weather changing. The best place to do it, to find out all the great ways to heat your home, is Johnstone Supply in Troy, helping people across upstate New York for decades. Now they can help you. Visit them on social media. Leave a comment, ask a question to their great staff. It's Johnstone Supply NY. Johnstone Supply Troy NY is their Facebook page. Or give me a call, 518-272-5922. 518-272-5922 is their number. Johnstone Supply in Troy. Shout out to our guy, George, always helping us from day one here on Godzilla Media. He's becoming a podcast fan more and more. It's awesome to have him supporting our content and everybody there who listens to Levack and Goz and all the other great shows on Godzilla Media. Make sure your home is taken care of. Save this number in your phone. Pass it to your friends and family members. 518-272-5922. Johnstone Supply in Troy. Get your home heated properly for the colder weather on the way, or stop into their spot, 6th Avenue in Troy during the weekdays. It's Johnstone Supply in Troy. All right, Levack. Let's talk more about this rapid recap. I think we start with a really fun story. How about, you know what? Let's give the Chargers and Chiefs love, because we talked about on Thursday. We haven't really talked on the recap of that game. Kansas City 27-24 winners. My takeaway is, oh my God, Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert are really, really good.
Yeah, and kind of the rub or the knock, or however you want to put it, that was on Kansas City was everybody in your division got better and you stayed the same at best, blah, blah, blah. I think that was fairly evident in this game. I think it was, because the gap has been closed, but Kansas City's still better. Like, I know there's more to it or whatever, but you tell me I've got to make a must-win wager, and I can have Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, or I can have Justin Herbert and some schlub, Deuce Staley's wannabe negative, whatever the hell it is. Like, you're still going to go with Reid and Mahomes, but the Chargers are catching up. They're getting better and better and better, and that team is talented and scary. Herbert's friggin' sweet. That is going to be a great rivalry for years and years to come, but the Chiefs are still just a little bit better.
The Chargers have a little bit of 2021 Bengal feel to them, right? Like, they're good, but maybe they're not good enough quite yet. But if they get the right matchups, if they get to the postseason, they can do it, because they're not very patient on offense. They want the big play to happen. Chargers have that right feel like the Bengals last year. And for the Kansas City side, they're just better right now. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, when Clyde Edwards-Helaire can actually run the football and they can do stuff in the backfield, that's what Kansas City is needed. And you and I previewed this, talking about how it was going to be on Amazon Prime. We had like amateur jokesters on social media the whole time, like, Grandma, I can't find the channel. Yeah. It felt like True TV in March Madness, everybody trying to find it. Presentation was awesome. Al Michaels, yeah. Kirk Herbstreit looked really cool. So all good things on the Amazon side.
No, they remind me of the 2021 Chargers. Hey, we're going to win this game. Then last minute, no, we're not. But no, the only problem, the only complaint I've heard from people who watched the game on Prime was due to the, I don't know, buffering or whatever it is. It was slightly delayed. So a lot of times people were getting their fantasy football updates and then seeing the play. So it's like, touchdown for Pat Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and then look up and it's happened. So, like, they got to, I think Prime will figure that out, though. That's kind of technology stuff where it's like, all right, how do we reduce that buffer? How do we the delay and make it go away? So I think they'll figure it out. But yeah, it was good. It was a good broadcast. I didn't have Wi-Fi in the hotel for the first quarter, but then it got there.
I was going to say, I was going to offer some insight about buffering and Wi-Fi, but I'm not allowed to speak as we're 19 minutes into this and nothing's gone wrong yet on my side.
Yet.
36-27, the final score is the Lions defeat the Washington Commanders, the Manimal, the Danimal. One of those nicknames will stick. Dan Campbell biting knees and getting wins. Awesome moment. His offensive lineman, their skipper, I believe got the game ball too for being out of the league, 6 teams in 6 years, stepping in. That felt like a Lions win that Dan Campbell would be proud of, right? That's everything the Lions want to be, is a win like that.
It really was. It's fun to see the Lions be good. It's fun to see Dan Campbell be good. Like, Dan Campbell's that friend that, like, you tell everybody all the time, like, you just got to get to know him. You just trust me. Once you get, sure, you look across the room and you think it's a guy looking to fight somebody with 2 toes and 1 butt cheek or whatever the hell that was. But the truth is, you're going to love him. Once you get to know him, he's going to be your guy. And now everybody's starting to get to know him, and he's their guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown, oh my God, how good is this kid? Leading rusher and receiver for the Lions in this game. Just a team that responds to their head coach. And Carson Wentz, even though the stats look good, he's poop. He shouldn't be out there anymore. So go Lions, man. Like this is fun to watch. I want to see this keep going.
Carson Wentz had one good game, and I was starting to reconsider, like, oh, maybe that's a good fit in Washington. Maybe that's not so bad. Went back to being Carson Wentz as the Commanders have to find some type of balance on offense. I'm rooting for Detroit too. I hope every time we come back and do Raptor reactions on Tuesday, that something wild happens in a Lion game. We just kind of did that comparison between 2021 Charger teams. Let's not hope that the 2022 Lions are the 2021 Lions where we keep coming back and saying, oh, they lost in the fourth. They lost in a field goal, blah, blah, blah.
They're getting there, though. They're getting better. Minnesota, good test next week. We'll see exactly who they really are.
The Buccaneers 20, Saints 10. My Tampa Bay Bucks are 2-0 on this season. Just a handful of teams sit there. Even though they finally beat the Saints, who have given them fits over the past few seasons, Brady finally gets his first win against New Orleans as a member of the Bucks. This one felt more about Brady's antics, if you saw some of his nonsense on the sidelines.
Yeah, this was an ugly game. Mike Evans getting kicked, they get into the fight there and everything. And, it is a rivalry. I think it's amazing that the Buccaneers are 2-0 right now because they have not looked good yet. This is not the Buccaneers team that you were hoping to see. Good enough to win, which is all you really need to be. But I don't think we've even come close to seeing the best Buccaneers football yet.
He gets Brady. I want the Man in the Arena documentary to restart again. And just give me a camera at Giselle's house. Give me a mic'd up Brady. Give me a mic'd up Brady of what he was really screaming at everybody during the game, throwing the iPad, whatever that is. Is a Nook still a thing? Is that what that's called? The tablet, whatever he was throwing on the Kindle. Yeah, the Kindle was thrown on the sideline. He hates life. Tom Brady. That's how we can all feel better about ourselves.
Look how hungry he must be. It's narrow little face.
The man has 7 Super Bowls. He's married to a supermodel. His net worth's got to be over $200 million, and he's not happy. But us out there,
avocado ice cream and tell me how happy you are. I was in the land of Chick-fil-A for like 9 days, dude. Only got there once.
TMC's just rubbing their hands together, thinking, "What's the next scandal?" Yeah, he's not happy. I hope just don't retire.
I hope like the end, like the end credit scene for the remake of The Man in the Arena is like the end of Dodgeball, where they go to Ben Stiller and he's all fat again. I hope just at some point Brady's just this huge fat bastard just singing about his milkshake, bringing all the girls to the yard and the boys and everyone else.
Chuck Norris. 17-14, the final. New England takes down Pittsburgh. Shout out to everybody who cashed in the under like me in this game, because even though these are great traditional franchises who have really dominated the AFC the past 15 years with Brady and Roethlisberger, they are not those teams anymore. And I think that was clear and pretty obvious at the end of this game.
I don't feel like this game was this close. Like, this score doesn't reflect on how New England was just kind of having their way with what the Steelers were doing, pushing around, doing what they wanted. This is a Steelers team that without 100% Najee Harris and one of these quarterbacks actually just legitimately taking the starting position, I'm very unconfident with the Steelers right now.
I wonder if we're going to look back on both these franchises and think they did it a certain way for so long, and there was a level of arrogance of, hey, we've done it this way. We've had success doing it this way. This is how we're going to win for both teams, because New England got these guys that nobody wanted, that Belichick loved, and his weird drafting, and weird in the sense that he did it different than everybody else, and it worked. And Pittsburgh said, we're never going to pay the guys, but we're finally going to maybe pay TJ Watt. But that's it. But these guys like Antonio Brown and Bell and high-paying quarterbacks, now they can all leave. Like, we're just going to do the Pittsburgh. Something that hasn't gone right for either team, because the old school methods aren't working. Both those teams look like going forward this season, they're going to struggle to score and struggle to beat somebody. You can only have disciplined players who make plays so often where eventually talent has to take over. And there doesn't feel like a lot of talent on New England or Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, that was it's kind of what I was thinking, because I like Harris. I think Harris had a chance to be like an RB1. He's best in RB2 right now. But I forgot Nelson Aguilar was there, and I was pissed off when they got him. So Yeah, definitely not that stellar star power. And when you remember the fact that like Matt Patricia's calling offensive plays or whatever. I mean, like it's a weird. It's almost like Belichick is that kid who's gotten so good at Madden that now he's like, yeah, but what if I play blindfolded? You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't. He thinks there's nothing that can beat him. So, and to this point, he's been in the mix each and every game, each and every season. It feels like. So we'll see what they do, but not sold on Mac Jones. But I still think the Pats are good enough to beat the hell out of most teams, just because they'll just ugly it up. They'll just drag you in the mud with them.
What if all my players are 60 overall in Madden? Can I still win, even if I put it on all Madden mode?
Can I make my right-handed quarterback left-handed somehow? I'm in. Let's do it.
24-0 Jacksonville over Indy. Levack, you had this one as a lock. I had this one as the most confident play of the entire weekend. We hope that you listened to us and cashed in for this Jacksonville pick. We both loved it. We both looked smart. That's the whole game. That's all that matters at the end.
That's all anyone should ever care about. The only thing that I'm mad about myself with Jacksonville is I was texting back and forth with Boston Dan, and I was about to bet moneyline Jags, and I got talked out of it. But that made me be over the top bold on other games as the weekend. I'm like, I can't allow that to happen anymore. And then I bet a couple that would have won with the spread, or at least been interesting with the spread, and I bet them to win outright. So that sucks. What does this tell you about the Jags? Jags here? Are they officially on the board? Are they good enough to compete now, or just a good game?
Ooh. It takes me back to the preseason show where you called Jacksonville to win the division. I almost fell out of my chair. I'm like, no way, Jacksonville stinks. But now looking at the South, oh my God, they're terrible. Everybody's bad. The Titans are 0-2. The Texans stink. Indianapolis, that schedule. This is probably the last time I'll do the schedule take on Indy. But you looked at their matchups. They had the Texans and they had the Jags the first 2 weeks. If you're a Colts fan, you think, okay, we're going to be 2-0. And by the time week 8 rolls around, we're probably going to be favored in like 7 of our 8 first games. They had such a cupcake schedule that this should have been the Colts' year to take over. It's gone from the Colts being that surprise team in the AFC to our guy Taylor Lattimore on Sports with the Zenith T. I saw his retweets. Colt fan wants Frank Wright fired. He's in the lead right now of fan base that wants coach fired because they're like, you can't blow these 2 games. I know they tied week 1. I should remember that. They're not 0-2. They're 0-1-1. They tied week 1. But Colts fans want them out because of how bad they are. So to your Jacksonville question, though, yes, because of how bad it is, I cannot believe it. But Jacksonville has been the most impressive team in the division. So I have to now put them in contention to potentially be a playoff team.
How do you win 8 straight home games against the division rival? Like, how does that happen? I just and they have not been as good as the Colts in a while, but they've won 8 straight in Duval County against the Indianapolis Colts.
This is probably as good as the Jags have to be too. Like they shouldn't need to beat teams 42-0. Trevor Lawrence is turning into average rather than elite, but maybe that's just it. Like 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, control the ball, make plays on defense. You'll be all right.
Guys, you know the difference between extraordinary and ordinary. It's just that little extra.
Ooh, look at that. The best game of the weekend. The Dolphins and the Rams. 42-38 final. Miami over Baltimore.
Yeah, you said Rams, but
I said Rams, Ravens.
You did. Yeah. That game, again, in the truck, driving north through torrential downpour, stark sunshine, torrential downpour. Like, and my nephew, who's a Ravens fan, is texting me like, man, this is the way the Ravens should be playing. Looks like you nailed your love of Rashad Bateman. Devin Duvernay's like, it looks like he's a Pro Bowler. Oh, he got hurt. Okay, whatever. But Lamar is having a day. He's all excited. Then the text stopped coming. And then it happens. The Ravens fall off a cliff. Like, you have wings, fly, don't fall, fly. And Tua, what is it, Big Cat called? The Tua Non? The Tua supporters, the Tua believers.
The Tua Non. That's right.
And that's the other thing too. Like, how about friggin' Will Brown, like rewriting history and coming at me? I told you so. You told me so about Baker. I don't feel like you told me so about Tua. And that just proves that you'll support any vertically challenged quarterback. That's what it comes down to. So, and even if you did tell me about Tua, you're batting 50% now because Baker sucks. But man, I don't think Tua can't be this good.
You should have came back and coach and said, "Would you recruit these quarterbacks, coach? Undersized, interesting throwing mechanics,
right? These are
attitudes,
point guards,
crazy fathers you'd have to deal with on the sidelines."
It's fair.
Here's the thing with Tua, and this is a very 2022 NFL draft social media take. Here's the problem with the Tua nons. I love that nickname. There are some people that just gave up on Tua and they said he sucked and he's terrible and he's awful, and that will be their take forever.
That was you.
No, well, look, he stunk. He did stink. He's been stinky for a while.
But like even I was like willing to at least like give him a chance, and you were just like, no, he's done. He's burning the stake.
He's tiny. He's tiny. He can't throw. He needs a new coach. Yes, all those things have been my take. But with BUT, but he was amazing. Like you got to give a guy credit when he's good, and I will give Tua all the credit in the world. It is a crazy, wild world we live in that after 2 weeks, I have to admit that Tua Tagovailoa is the best quarterback in the NFL after 2 weeks. Statistically, performance-wise, I'm not saying I'd take him with a number one pick. I'm just saying performances, Tua has been the best quarterback in the NFL the first 2 weeks of the season. If that's just flat out Mike McDaniel and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, whatever, doesn't matter. Like, he's been the best quarterback. I love the tweet from, I'm going to mess up who it was. Oh, it was Emmanuel Acho from Fox who said, could you imagine if Justin Herbert had a comeback down 28-3 and threw for over 400 yards and 6 touchdowns? We would have put him in the Hall of Fame. But because it's Tua, people are still wondering. This has got a little bit of that Josh Allen Twitter film people. Remember, like, you and I would have to talk to the Bills fans, be like, yeah, but didn't you see this overthrow by Allen on 3rd and 15? It's on Twitter. Tua has become that people just want to. He was great. There you go. Can he be great for the rest of the season? That remains to be seen. I would lean towards no.
You know what's coming. But can he finish the season? He's always hurt. So that's what's going to be next. Is going to be you, especially. I can see you doing it. Oh, he's just one big hit away from being done.
I'll stick by my take that he's not the quarterback next season. It's Lamar Jackson, the guy he played against. Lamar Jackson is more likely to be the quarterback in Miami than Tua is next year. I'll stick by that take.
I don't know. Well, you can't back down now.
No, it's too late now.
You're too deep into the woods. You got to hope to come out the other side.
Rams 31, Falcons 27. I had to double take this score because you talk about a score that does not reflect this game. I thought there was a typo. 27. Red zone was done with this game. People were, I tuned out. I'm like, they're up by 21 points. There's no chance Atlanta will come back and everything else. The Rams dominated this game. And if you had the Rams with the points, I feel for you because that felt like a backdoor cover that both you and I called on our preview show on Thursday. That's another win for Levack and Goz.
I'm going to do this like an evil genius. I think the Falcons are on their way. And I think the only way they're going to be a team like the Rams is if the Rams do something stupid, like leave early. And it felt like the Rams left early. It felt like they were just like, well, this is over. These pusses can't beat us. And next thing you're like, dude, they just scored again. Yeah, so what? Again. Oh, crap. Get back out there. Like it felt like the Rams left.
We'll do another video game comparison. Remember in video games, you hit the simulate button where, like, if you're up in a game, you could just fast forward and all of a sudden you're scrambling. Whoa, what's happening? Why are they coming back? Get back in it. Hit the start button. How do we get back in this game? That's exactly what happened in that game. And Stafford, Cup, everything is still there for that Rams team. Running back wise, I think McVay's just going to whatever. He's just going to do what he wants every single time. I know Arthur Smith believe this is a true quote. You got to be careful with these quotes now on social media that he was asked about the lack of production from Kyle Pitts, and he responded with, "This isn't fantasy football. We're trying to win the game." Well, Pitts is good. I know people complain about their fantasy teams. He's one of your best targets. Drake London, the rookie, scored for you, and Cordero Patterson is trying to revolutionize football, but Pitts is good. Maybe you should throw to him if you want to be productive, Atlanta. And that's why you're 0-2.
The reason, the funny part I have about this is I'm kind of, I support what he says for this reason. So, up until this week or the week before, everywhere I went, I was Albany Empire. So everybody spoke to me a certain way about Darius Prince. So, he's the greatest. He's this, he's that. So this week I walk around, I've got a Columbus Lions logo on my shirt. And it's Well, we shut him down. We stopped him that one game, and it's like you double and triple covered in the entire game, and Casanova torched you with Markel Wade and Aaron Washa and everybody else because you gave up your entire defense to stop one guy. Well, yeah, but we stopped him. Okay, but you lost by double digits. Like you didn't really, and he was probably pissed. No, I remember talking to him right after the game and him going, "I'll be a decoy if it means we're going to score a bunch and be done early." Like I can see a scenario where he's saying, "Listen, everybody thinks we're going to go to Pitts, so we're not going to go to him every play. We're going to go to him when it makes sense. And if everybody wants to cover him because they think he's the only guy that they have to worry about, good. I'll throw it to other people. I'll get it where it needs to go." So I think that's where his head was with that. This is real. This isn't fantasy. This isn't anything else. Get off the cable box.
By the way, if you have Kyle Pitts in your fantasy leagues and you're competing against Levack and I will take a Kyle Pitts trade offer. I might start tossing a little sprinkle out there if people don't want him on their team anymore. Tight end position's weird in fantasy this year. 27-7 the score. San Francisco gets the win over their division rival Seattle. The big story in this one, Trey Lance injured in the game. Earlier in the week, there was a clip that went viral of Trey Lance following the week one loss by San Francisco out at the club, partying with strippers. Trey Lance was staring at strippers' buttholes and not the playbook, and he's injured in week. Was that not right?
I don't know.
I don't my take? I just kept taking strippers' buttholes and texts about Trey Lance. Jimmy G comes in. Jimmy G leads San Francisco to a victory. Maybe my headline presentation there might be skewed because of my feelings about Trey Lance. But San Francisco, 20-point winners with a quote-unquote, air quote, back quarterback playing for the Niners.
Yeah. Would you call it a backdoor cover because of the butthole situation? Or what do you I mean, you couldn't really have a worse scenario for Trey Lance. Like, hey, he's not taking this seriously. He's looking at naked women, which we all would. Hey, he's hurt. Oh, and they win by 20. Garoppolo wasn't good. He was good enough to win the game, but like everybody's gonna jump off this situation with Trey Lance. He loses a full season. Will he ever be 100% healthy? Now all these questions are going to come and go. And this is a team built to win now. This team that could win the Super Bowl with Jimmy G, with Trey Lance, they could compete with you as quarterback, guys. So there's a chance they win it all without Trey Lance, and then that looks like a bust pick when maybe it wasn't. Maybe he would have developed into what you needed him to be. I feel bad for Trey Lance right now. I really, really do. I love what's happening with Jimmy G. I love that everybody's forgot that not only did he I don't know if he went to strip clubs or not, but he was dating a porn star for a while. So but that's all forgotten and forgiven because he went out there when they needed him and got a W. But good for him, but I feel bad for Trey Lance.
Can we do a conspiracy theory on Lance one time here?
Yeah.
I know the reports out from San Francisco that his season's over. I believe that his season is over. I believe that. And the report is a fibula fracture, ligament disruption. I feel as if from what's happened in August and September and Jimmy G getting re-signed, they were very much looking forward to making sure to let everyone know his season is over because of two reasons. One, like the whole situation of Jimmy G coming back and then all of a sudden he gets hurt. They don't have to make a decision anymore if like in week 15, if Lance is the guy or he's not. That whole storyline of whether or not Trey Lance is going to come back, San Francisco dealt with that before. They did that with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick, and that team got all the way to the Super Bowl, and that hung over that team's head, and some could argue that it hurt that team. It didn't happen the second time when they lost to Kansas City. But if you're a Niner fan, that's now done. Like, it's Jimmy G's team, and they think they can win the Super Bowl right now, and that's been all the reports. And they're like, we're not going to let a first-year quarterback ruin the chance to win a Super Bowl. Jimmy G, come on back. Try to win this for us.
I think the reason that you make it known so early is so it isn't an issue because you don't want every time like Jimmy G goes out and has a subpar game, they win like a 13-10 game. Garoppolo throws for 180 yards, 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown, and then everybody's going, "You look forward to Trey Lance being healthy in a couple weeks?" And it's like, well, now it's like, well, it don't matter. He's not gonna be. He's not gonna be out there. So W's matter. Losses matter. Whoever the QB is, we know it's Jimmy G. So I think you get that done. You try to nip that in the bud early.
Dallas 20, Cincinnati 17. Levack, can you believe it? our visual side, Levack's putting in eye drops. He saw this game, a 3-point Bengal game. Who would have seen it coming? Sure enough, there it is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think in my picks, I think I picked Cincinnati just because of how terrible McCarthy is. But at the same time, just go with what you know. Every Bengals game will be decided by 3 points. That is leave me alone, stupid cat. Sorry, I'm being attacked by a kitten. Ow, bite me. If it's going to be 3 points, 3 points every time. Doesn't matter win or lose. Anytime there's a spread in the Bengals game over 3 points, take the points. Doesn't matter who's getting them. Doesn't matter what's going on. Take the points.
I'm more confused after the game than I was before the game. Like, what is Cincinnati? Did they lose a heartbreaker to Pittsburgh week 1? Yes, but they'll bounce back against a Dallas team that isn't as good. The Cowboys are playing with Cooper Rush as their quarterback. They don't seem active to try to bring anybody in, but they've got some issues on offense where they're not as productive as they were in comparison to pass. I don't know now. Like, the game is over. Dallas won. I still don't know what either team is for the rest of the season. They got
trash.
I guess so. I really don't know. Dallas gets the win. Good for them. They're at home. It's a good victory because the NFC East is better than some people thought it would. The AFC North is strange, but I don't know. I wish I could give a hot take about the Bengals or the Cowboys, but I need so much more. I don't know what happened in Cincinnati. Maybe they were always this level of a team, and they had those wins go in their favor last season, and it worked out in the postseason. They got on a hot stretch, and Joe Burrow has not been the MVP caliber quarterback some thought he could be preseason. Not you and I, but others in the social media landscape.
He got out QB'd by Cooper Rush. Just put that out there.
Denver 16, Houston 9.
I thought Houston was going to win this thing outright. I really did. Houston's my game, man. I'm telling you, for the rest of the season, you give me a good spread and the Houston Texans, and I'm going with the Texans. The Texans, what you're seeing right now is the Lovie Smith effect. This is a team of average to some slightly above average players, but they're being coached by an NFL coach, and they're playing football, and they're in every game. They're 0-1-1. But nobody thought they'd be this good. Nobody thought they would be in any of these games, and here they are. And Mills' stats are terrible. I felt like he was a little better than this, but no, his stats are terrible. Imagine if they had a quarterback, they would be scary.
You know what's hilarious about that? The stats are bad. The Texans have played better than the 0-2 start that could have been. Our friend Jake Aspen over at ESPN Houston, there's a poll out today, or yesterday, I should say, on Monday, that asked, after the performance by Davis Mills, do you believe he's the franchise quarterback for the Houston Texans? And I didn't know if they were joking or not. Because
he wasn't good.
He wasn't good, but they're like, they're playing better with him as quarterback, and this is year 2 with him. They could get a high pick in the draft to draft somebody, sure. But it seems as if Houston and Denver are kind of the same team of the preseason expectations of, we knew Houston didn't have really good running backs and wide receivers, and one of their best wide receivers got sick, is out for the season, and Cooks is getting older. So that's what we thought of Houston, and there they are, but playing better. And Denver, everyone pointed to say, Russell Wilson's in like year 12. To think he's going to step into a new system and win you games as a $200 million quarterback seems to be a pipe dream or a pie dream. How does that expression go? Anyways, but that's his either. Yeah. And it's not happening. Like, he's not putting up 400-yard games and running for 100 yards. This is probably just like the Bengals Cowboys. I don't know. This I do know. Like, this is going to be the Texans and Broncos for the rest of the season. That performance by those teams.
And to see Russell Wilson get booed in his first home game as a Bronco quarterback did my heart good. To listen to Mike Golick and all the Westwood One people and everybody else go, man, it feels like they just went and got Hackett, because of Rodgers, and then they didn't get Rodgers. And it's like, oh my God, I've been saying that all along. So Broncos are just crap. They're just crap.
Your Raiders are up next.
Yeah,
29-23. Overtime loss to the Arizona Cardinals.
Crap. First half was amazing. The way the entire team played was perfection. I mean, a lot of penalties, a lot of stupid penalties. But they had, a 23-7 lead with under 9 minutes left in the game, and they couldn't score. They couldn't get first downs. You can't blame the defense. The defense was exhausted. You can't chase Kyler Murray around for a game and then expect them to have energy left. Hunter Renfrow was not Hunter Renfrow. Carr, they couldn't keep the pressure off of him. but like it was almost like one of those situations where the team walks in the locker room after a dominant first half, and you're like, this is good. And in there are a bunch of Scooby-Doo villains who club them all over the head with pipes, tie them up, leave them in their lockers, put on their uniforms and masks that look just like them, and come out and play like hot trash. It was a Scooby-Doo loss for sure. I'm going to throw a zoinks at this one and just say, and jinkies. It was two different games altogether.
Of all the 0-2 teams right now, I still have the most faith in your Raiders. Like if there's an 0-2 start, they're the team that's the best of that bunch of the 0-2s right now to get back in it, because those are two tough losses. Both games are in at the end. They might benefit the most from a 17-game regular season, where if it was 16, they might miss the postseason. And 17, they get in that tiebreaker scenario. They're still good. Like they have some really good, talented players. They just haven't been able to put the W in. I'm a little pissed off at the Kyler Murray storyline, by the way. And I'm not a fan of Kyler Murray. Like this nonsense. I cannot believe this became a national story from week 2. Have you seen the story that there's an investigation ongoing that a fan slapped Kyler Murray at the end of the game? Have you seen this?
I know I hadn't seen it. No.
So this was like the second or third biggest story talked about nationally. This is on ESPN, Good Morning Football, all the national sites talking about the slap. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I haven't seen this video of a quarterback getting slapped anywhere on social media. This should be out there somewhere. And I retweeted at Tom Goz, 2MG, it was easy, of Garoppolo getting all these like love, and guys are like, hitting his helmet like we see in football. What happened was Kyler Murray ran over to like the Cardinal cheering section, but also looked like the black hole. And it was kind of like diving in, and like the fans are going like this. And one of the fans like going for Murray's hair hits him in the face, and Murray spins around and like gets in the dude's face. I don't think he tried slapping him. I think Kyler Murray's a baby. He got hit in the face and thought a fan tried slapping him. And knock it off going for the clickbait, because you got me and now I'm a bit bitter.
No, it's got to be the narrative of the Raider fan. The Raider fan's got to be evil and slapping people. And the worst part is the reason I didn't recognize it right away is because of his height. Somebody said the story I saw was, why did that Raider fan slap that small child in the face at the Raiders game? And like, people were like, well, it's because he was a Cardinals fan and everything else. And then, and then you look and you go, wait, that's not a child. That's Kyler Murray. So, right. It is what it is.
27-10, the Packers defeat the Bears. You and I were texting about this game. We both felt like the Bears could keep it close after how well they looked in week 1, that Rodgers just can't constantly dominate this franchise. The rookies aren't ready yet. And it was our dear, dear friend, Aaron Jones, who decided to prove us both wrong and have a monster performance.
Yeah, there were moments where you felt like the Bears were going to do just enough to get back into it. Dave Montgomery is legit. Like, Dave Montgomery is an NFL player, and he probably, like, I don't know, pick a country where we rescue people who are being tortured. We need to extradite David Montgomery from the Bears. He needs to be scooped up and then dropped on a good team that just needs a running back. Like, I don't care who it is, just go scoop him up and drop him somewhere else. Fields is so raw. He needs so much help, so much work. He is not an NFL quarterback at this moment. They don't have any weapons except for Montgomery. I thought they would gut it out. I thought they would ugly this game up. I was hoping that there was enough going on with the Packers that the Bears would get that W. None of that came through. The Packers are head and shoulders above the Bears.
Shame on us for giving up on Aaron Jones and everybody who's an NFL fan, because we all thought he was done. A.J. Dillon was the guy. Our guy, Boston Dan, loves A.J. Dillon, a beast at BC. It seemed to be a 2-horse committee there for Green Bay. Aaron Jones, every single time people have thought he's not the guy, he's proved him wrong. Monster game on Sunday night. That might have to be the Packers game plan too. If Rodgers is going to keep screaming at his wide receivers and Alan Lazard is not 100%, maybe that's the way Green Bay is going to have to do this. And speaking of the NFC North, our final game on the rapid recap, the Vikings and the Eagles, 24-7 final. Philly rolls in this one on that weird double East Coast game where most people might have missed the first Jalen Hurts touchdown. Philly, if we look at the NFC, you want to make an argument like I did in the preseason that the Eagles might be the best team in the NFC and finish with the most wins. I'm feeling good about that because Philadelphia is balanced, man. And look at Levack. Drogon's right. I thought Drogon was sitting on your shoulder because it looks
He
like
was.
that with the color. Okay.
He'll be back.
Philly might be the best team in the NFC.
Are they that good? Because if they're
Yes.
that good, that means Minnesota still is okay. Or is Minnesota just not what we hoped they would be?
Or Kirk Cousins just hates any primetime game. Every Monday night football game, always bet against Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins sucks. He's terrible. He is absolutely terrible. Yeah, I thought the Eagles, if anything, after week one, I thought, okay, well, they're going to be a little pedestrian, just a little bit. But no, they're legit. They are absolutely legit. It is going to be very, you want to know just how good the Giants are. When they have to start playing the Eagles, that's when we'll find out. But with the Cowboys going through what they're going through, the Eagles just go ahead and hand them the NFC East. They're going to be the team to beat.
By the way, if you're looking for our predictions, how we did in week 2 and more, you'll get all that plus week 3 picks at Mohawk Honda when we are live this Thursday, 4 to 5:30 in Glenville, New York. Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. The fall is here, the crisp air, the fall breeze, and now for you, maybe a new vehicle thanks to our friends at Mohawk Honda. The selection is there, the car you're looking for, the vehicle that you want. Great deals going on Pilots, Ridgelines, and more. You can stop in, passports too. All those things you can find at Mohawk Honda. If you head over to Glenville, New York, work with the fantastic people that we know. We hope you stop in on Thursday. Tell them, hey, Levack and Goz are here. We're coming to hang out 4 to 5:30, NFL picks and more for the weekend. That's all coming up. And shout out to Scott Moynihan, who is back. By God, Scott Moynihan's music, he is back. Shout out to Greg Johnson, the GM, and more. Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. See you there on Thursday. Levack, any takeaways from the college football weekend? Any big storyline for you? Michigan covered against UConn.
I'm just not good at picking college football this year, I think is my story. A&M gets the win. Everybody kind of like stuck a fork in them. They get the new starting quarterback. They get the W over Miami, which I thought was good for them. Michigan is good. Michigan's got to keep winning the way they're winning to stay in the national spotlight, but they haven't given themselves the kind of schedule where they're going to get any real love or push until they start playing the Big Ten teams, their Big Ten part of their schedule. But all in all, I'm just terrible at picking college football, I think is what it comes down to.
If you start slow, that means a big winner's on the way. The juju momentum will swing at some point midway through, or it'll get more difficult in their conference games. And you get teams that are like 2-4 and shock a team who's bowl eligible. I don't know where the college football world's going to go. I know game days in Knoxville, Tennessee this week where the Vols are going to take on the Florida Gators, and they sold out in, I believe, less than an hour. And there's 102,000 people scheduled to be in Neyland Stadium against the Gators. And Hendon Hooker, I'll give him the compliment. I was going to save this for Thursday. I'll tell you now. He is the modern day Donovan McNabb. And you know how much that hurts.
So he's going to ignore you too?
No, we just stop it. No, Hendon Hooker's the modern day McNabb, and he's going to light up Florida. There's a pick for you on Saturday. For the New York teams, UAlbany, Reese Poffenbag. I think my microphone just exploded when I said his name. Poffenbag. He set the all-time UAlbany single-game record for passing against Fordham, and they still unfortunately can't get the win. Here's what's killing me about UAlbany. Fordham's 18th in the country. So you play Baylor, you play New Hampshire, and then you play a top 20 team in the country following the, we could sit here and be like, UAlbany's got to win more games. They got to be better. They can't be 0-3. Like all those are like the easy, low-hanging fruit storylines. Maybe the schedule is a lot harder than we even realized from the start of the season. Like when you're playing nationally ranked teams, oh, by the way, in that mix is Villanova and William & Mary and Richmond. You look through the FCS top 25, they're all UAlbany opponents. That's it. So Coach Gattuso for the third, fourth year in a row, that is a tough test to be competitive when those types of dogs are going up against the Great Danes every week.
Yeah, and pun intended. The schedule makers have never been fans of Gattuso and UAlbany, I swear. God, will you leave me alone? He's being a dick. But this has been the hardest schedule I think we've ever seen. The way Baylor is there, and a lot of conversations about that because there's two Texas teams now in the National Arena League. So they're like, yeah, didn't you guys come down and play Baylor? I'm like, and they smile at me, and I'm like, okay, first of all, stop it. Didn't you guys come up and get your ass whipped by Albany? So shut your mouths, whatever. Yeah. But no, that's this schedule. You got to hope that moving forward, it's just going to be a whole different animal when they get into everything that they've got going on, because this is, you talk about, trial by fire to start a season. Baylor, New Hampshire, Fordham, Central Connecticut coming up. Like you're not doing yourself any real favors early.
That's the part that really hurts FCS football when you have a team that struggles early on. That in at least the FBS, if you get to that 6-win mark and go to a bowl game and you have things to play for, the FCS in that playoff spot, it's hard. It's competitive to get in the playoffs. And the bowl games in FCS haven't had the same type of popularity as the FBS, especially if you're a home crowd. Like, you want to make sure, like, hey, if UAlbany starts pulling off some wins, they can get back to the playoffs. They played Central Connecticut State in that game back in 2019. They got the home win. So hopefully these tests early, and I know this is a storyline we've been talking about through September, make this team better. We'll find out. As for my Syracuse Orange, I watched this game against Purdue. Jay Larkin, by the way, who you and I are meeting up with tomorrow,
That's right, tomorrow,
will be owing me some beer. And I wish I could look Jay in the face and say, ha, I was right. I called that. Syracuse, Orange fans can be pissed at me on social media. They had no business winning that game. None. They got every single call. If you're a Purdue fan and you're going to start screaming about ACC officials, which I've had to deal with their crooked nonsense, I can hear you out on this one. It was horribly officiated. And look, some of the calls did go against Purdue, but they're blasting guys out of bounds. They're getting called for pass interferences. One of the big drives for Syracuse, they had 2 15-yard penalties is the way they got third downs. At the end of the game, Syracuse benefits twice from more personal fouls where Purdue's got to kick off the ball, like basically back into their own end zone, and Syracuse gets to start the game-winning drive at the 50-yard line. And then the extra point. Look, every call went in Syracuse's favor, but they still won the game, Syracuse, and they're 3-0, and they're going to smack Virginia on Friday night. Drive to another state to bet on that game. This is John. sorry, Levack. This is John Gruden with my Bucks against your Raiders. They have all the plays.
Whoa.
All the coaches went to Virginia. The whole coaching staff is from Virginia. They know all the players. They're going to kill Virginia. And I have I had to make sure I got to this on today's show. There is now a proposition that's been proposed between the Central New York buddies of mine who I saw at a wedding this weekend. The call has been made to Levack. They want you, the Salve Brethren, want you to do a show with me. As they said, we'll deal with you. If Syracuse can get College Game Day, there's now rumors already that potentially Syracuse could be 5-0 and host NC State in mid-October on a Saturday. So the question has been tossed. Yes, this 15th. Is, I believe, October 16th. So I think you might be back in town.
15th. So yeah, I fly back on the 14th. So.
All right. So here's the rule. If Syracuse gets College Game Day for October 15th, which is a big if, it's one of the few schools that hasn't had to happen, we would do a show live from the tailgate because obviously Game Day won't let us Game Day won't let us get on their spot. But from our tailgate, and I know the rule you're going to ask already. You want a 44 jersey. That's a 4X. So we've got a lot of ifs. If Syracuse make one. Right. If Syracuse gets Game Day, and if you can get a 44 4X, is that all it's going to take for you to potentially do a show live from a tailgate for that game? And obviously tickets to the game.
Yeah.
I realize this list is getting longer, by the way.
Yeah, my rider is pretty solid. I like this. Some beers. Ride. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Place to stay.
Yeah, because I think I fly in. I think I'm in Albany by like 8 o'clock the night before. So yeah, we can make this happen. All right, as long as my rider is fulfilled, then we can do this.
We've got a lot of things we got to pay off because I still have to get started on our boot bet, and I have yet to pay off my shave my head bet from WrestleMania. So maybe that will be the.
You'll do all like it'll be the payoff show.
Yeah, it will. We'll do the boot bet. We'll do the shave. Look, that's a lot of what ifs. But if you're a Syracuse fan and you're going to the potentially that NC State game, and if they get by Virginia and Wagner, and they get Game Day, I'm very excited about that already. Not like I'm getting my hopes up that. I think Syracuse is going to have Game Day a month from now. All right, that's all I have in college football. We want to talk about Aaron Judge, but before we get to Aaron Judge, Lily and David Fine Jewelers, Route 50, the shops of Wilton. I'm stopping in this week. I don't think Alyssa even knows yet. Alyssa, I'm coming in this week, so be ready. I'm going to be checking out the selection of jewelry. Stopping in. It is my parents' anniversary coming up, so hopefully my dad is listening. Maybe my mom's going to get some wonderful from Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Whether it's the holiday season, whether it's birthdays, whatever it might be. Again, shout out to my friends Aaron and Shannon who got married over the weekend. Aaron, just because you got married and you listen to the show, and I know you're a Red Sox fan, and we're going to talk about the Yankees, but still make sure to stop in and celebrate those great holidays right there in Wilton, New York. Alyssa, David, Jacob, Tammy, everybody over there, so cool to work with. They're great people. I know from experience, there's my wedding band right there. You can have the same thing happen for you. Find something that fits your budget and that she's going to get compliments on for years to come. Family owned and operated business to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Love working with Lily and David Fine Jewelers. They're the best when you're looking for that piece of jewelry, especially if you don't know what you're doing. They have the experience to help you through that process. Lily and David Fine Jewelers, Route 50, the Shops of Wilton. Check them out on Facebook as well as they continue to post all the great holiday deals on the way. It's Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Levack, Aaron Judge can smell 62 home runs.
But will we all see it is the question, because that could be on the Apple TV show. He's got to get it. I mean, he's on pace for 65 in Pirates tonight. I don't know a lot about the Pirates. Don't really care about the Pirates. I don't think it matters who the pitcher is. He'll get like 63, 64, I think. Would it be great if he's like sitting at 61 until the last game of the year and he just goes off and has like a 4 home run game. Just annihilates them. That'd be phenomenal.
I hope that actually kind of does happen now. I hope it like the chase gets extended a little bit, even though that Saturday, Sunday, I want to have as many eyes as possible on Aaron Judge. And you mentioned the Apple thing, that more fans might not be able to see it. Oh, how different the world is 15 years later from the McGuire and Sosa thing in 98 to 2022, where you would cut into at-bats with Sosa, McGuire, and Bonds in that early 2000 stretch. I believe that's 2002. And now it's someone give me my Apple password so I can potentially watch Judge, or, ooh, I found it on TikTok, the home run. What difference the world could be. He's going to get it. Yes, I'm with you. And I hope it's celebrated, and I hope it gets all the kudos it does. And let's do this easy one. Are you going to think that's the home run record of all time? Like with Sosa and McGuire and Bonds? Are we going to be those people who say 62's real to me, damn it?
I can't do it. It's, cheat or not cheated. It's, it's Bonds. Bonds has the record.
Bonds has the record. I'm with you too. I think the people who might stand by the 62's the real record people are old people.
I want somebody to make the argument to me where I go, you know what? I like it. Let's do it. I'm going to go with it. Like, I want someone to convince me because I'd love to be that guy. I'd love to be well, at least he did it clean. Like, I would love that. Like, I guess they got Anthony Rizzo the other day, and he was like, well, it's nice to have this happen where, it's just skill and it's not, something else. And it's like, it is, keep talking, Anthony. Give me a reason. Give me a reason to decide that this is the real record.
I hope it is Aaron Judge celebrating. Maybe a walk-off home run is cool. And now we can eliminate this whole thing of whether or not the New York Yankees are going to be a playoff team or below the division lead or anything else. It feels like that storyline is in the past with kind of it running out. What are we at? Less than 20 games, a 5.5 game lead. Baltimore, unfortunately, is now falling off. Thank you for the moments, Baltimore.
Yeah, but you're still better than the Red Sox. So
yeah,
there's that.
The Blue Jays and Rays are there. It's not threatening the postseason at all. Yankees are going to have the AL East. So this is just right here. Big 99 going for the record is what everybody in baseball is going to talk about now.
Like, tell me something though, because I don't have Apple. I don't have Apple TV. My understanding is you don't have to have the subscription to watch the game, but you do have to sign in. So I think this is one of those deals where like you can still watch the game for free, but then they get your data and you start getting hit with the, hey, sign up, come back, watch, Ted Lasso.
Ooh,
that's
I don't know.
That.
I have Apple, so I don't know.
There's going to be like 50,000 Ted Lasso commercials in that. There has to be.
Ted Lasso is awesome though.
Yeah. It's a great show. I just think you're going to get sick of it by the end of the game.
That's the worst now too, that streaming services have commercials. Most people bought streaming services thinking that because I have a streaming service, you don't need commercials. We did this with Sirius the other day where it's like, hey, you have the Sirius subscription. You can say and do whatever you want. We don't really care about ratings because we already have your money, but we're still making money. We're doubling up. We're triple dipping. Not a poo-poo.
Right. Nothing you can do about it, bitches. So
go Aaron Judge, man.
Yeah, come on. Just go off. Just go off. Just hit a bunch of them, and then re-sign with the Yankees right after you break the record. Just like walk up to home plate. Cashman is standing there with the contract. Randy Levine turns around so you can sign it on his back, and then just jam the pen as far into his fucking shoulder blade as you can when it's done. Like, shh, and then let him walk off. And everybody will be like, you deal with it. You deal with it, you little bee.
I'll see you in the postseason, you son of a bitch. You ready for Q&A to end the day?
Yeah. Yep.
Instacam leading it off. Bucks, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, Dolphins, Giants, the only 2-0 teams. Thank you for that, Cam. But because of that comment, now I'm going to force Levack into a tougher question.
Okay.
Of all those undefeated teams you're looking at right now, and you don't have a chance to compare schedules, which will make this even more difficult, which do you have the most confidence in that can last with an undefeated record the longest of those franchises? Again, for our audio audience, we'll repeat it one more time. Bucks, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, Dolphins, Giants.
Bill's schedule sucks. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Just because I think the Bills are the best team there. I would say the Eagles, except for the Giants, are actually competitive now. The best teams the Chiefs are going to face are teams that they already know how to play. You know, so I'll say the Chiefs have the best chance of taking it. Like they'll go like 7 or 8-0, and then they'll level off. Bills will drop one. I don't think it'll be this week to the Dolphins. I haven't like broken it down yet. My hand just got caught in the middle of a cat fight. But like I think the Bills will drop like a random game that you don't expect them to, and then just start destroying people. But like Chiefs, I think Chiefs go the farthest.
The Chiefs have proven it more recently that they can have a really good team. The problem with me with the Chiefs is that I'm very stubborn, and I picked the Chiefs to miss the postseason, so I need to start rooting against them for me to sound right and cash that ticket that I have. So I'm going to bet against the Chiefs. The Giants, skill-wise, of those teams
they
up there,
they can still miss the postseason and just go like 8-0 and then just fall off.
That's right. Double down. Then just get like the plus money at 8-0, and then
then Mahomes gets an ingrown toenail, and next thing you know, they lose 6 straight.
I'll take Buffalo because they feel as if they're the team that's going to be favored in all those games. So I'll bet the favorite, even though that can end this week in week 3 against Miami. Tampa, even though they're winning, they seem like old people winning. You know, the style of offense and Mike Evans suspended, that is not a high-powered Tampa offense. Philadelphia is awesome. And Philadelphia is probably my second pick if I had to choose one. But I would go with the Bills just because they have played the best of all those teams that are out there. And I think they're really good. Corey from Greenwich. Hello, Corey. There you are. Is Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs the best quarterback wide receiver duo now in the league?
No, stat wise, it's Tua and Tyreek Hill. I mean, that's who it is. It's simple. They've got the best stats, and they're nasty. They're filthy nasty. So it's Tua. That's all there is to it.
Oh, you're bringing back from what I said earlier that Tua is playing the best the last 2 weeks. I would take Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is great. And another amazing catch last night. Josh Allen's throwing the ball all over the place. He makes Josh Allen better. Yes, Corey. Even though you've been listening to the whole show and want to see if I'd get caught in your Greenwich trap that you and Levack set up for me. Yes, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are the best combo.
Who's the leader in receiving touchdowns right now?
Ooh. Who is the leader in receiving touchdowns in the NFL? I would go with Diggs. I think OJ Howard's up there though. OJ Howard might have 3 on like 7 catches. He definitely had 2 touchdowns in the first game for the Texans. It could be OJ Howard, but I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs as the leader. Unless there's a bunch of
Diggs has 4. Michael Thomas, Cooper. There's a bunch with 3. Cooper Kupp, Jahan Dotson. That's definitely one you gotta love. You gotta love that one a lot. But Tyreek Hill and Tua right now, that's something. He's got a lot of weapons to throw to. What about Derek Carr and Devontae Adams? Come on. Why no love? No,
not gonna happen. Not yet. Although they're really good. Maybe fantasy football wise, you stack them and they're good. I got our boy Scotty Blaine. Our boy Scotty Blaine hopped in here. Radio legend. He left me a nice picture here of Triple H. And there's rumors floating around. You got to check this out later if you haven't, about the White Rabbit It's something really cool that WWE did where during a match the other day at 9:23, they had someone walk across the crowd with a QR code. And if you scanned the QR code, it took you to a video of the White Rabbit, and it's at 9:23. So people are believing that Bray Wyatt might be coming back because of a QR code video that's scripted. Reddit has gone crazy. Do you have any interest in watching WWE if Bray Wyatt comes back?
I like Bray Wyatt a lot. What is that, Rotunda?
Yes, Rotunda.
I wouldn't. I mean, Bray Wyatt's interesting. I've been watching a little bit more of it. I didn't watch any last night. I fell asleep, man. I was out. I drove. Basically, it's like an 18-hour drive. I did it in like 21 hours. So I was pretty crashed last night. Yeah, no, I'll check that out. I'll probably look up the thing you're talking about right now as soon as we're done.
Oh, it's good. We got 2 NFL games going on last night. We got baseball going on, and there I am tweeting about wrestling.
Nerd.
Ryan McCarthy, I'll take anal bum covers for 200, please, Alex.
Because you said the stripper's butthole.
Trey Lance,
I think.
Butthole.
Okay, Ryan. Thanks. Have you noticed we now get a tweet every time he's doing a podcast so that I know where he is?
You mean this one? Shameless plug. If you want more in-depth coverage of the Jets flushing the Browns, watch No Credentials Required after the broadcast.
He's become football in the know. Remember when football in the know used to try everything to get us to talk about them? Ryan McCarthy has now become football in the know.
I do like how Ryan just kind of slipped this in, and I don't think it's a bad method. It's very old school TV where he's using the Levack and Goz show as a lead into No Credentials Required. That hasn't been done yet in Godzilla Media. I see what he's doing, and I don't hate that style of shamelessly promoting himself.
I like this one. Here we go. Bottles of Zima and significant alcohol will be provided on Levack's October appearance in Syracuse. Deal. But take that capital V out of my name. I literally look like a French vacuum. Oh, Levack, he is the vacuum cleaner, huh? Your sister-in-law's calling me Labatt's. Your dad's got me being a French vacuum, but I'll forgive it over Zima and everything else.
I think the fact that he was able to figure out how to do that and that was clearly spell checked on him is impressive enough. That probably we had that conversation a half hour ago and that comment finally just came through. So I think the idea that the V was capitalized, we're asking for a lot. Yes, the campaign begins October 16th. Levack, if game day's there, the Dixon tailgate with the pirate flag waving, a table set up for Levack and Goz. Head will be shaved. Zima will be consumed. We're rooting for the orange. It is very possible. Now, I'm looking at the Godzilla Media schedule. I got to check it. I believe we're also scheduled to be at the Hideaway the 17th. And,
Busy weekend. We'll make it work.
Okay, so that's October 15th was the game we're talking about. Yes, we are scheduled to be at the Hideaway the 16th, so we might have a 2-hour road trip back to Albany. You and I might be just showing up to the Hideaway together. That would be a
I might be sleeping in the back of your car a lot because, like, remember, I'm flying. So I fly out to Columbus, Georgia for Lions business Sunday the 9th. I work all week down there. Then I fly back the 14th, which is the Friday at night. And then potentially hop in a vehicle with you, head to what was once I'm just called the Dome. Head to the Dome, do a pregame show, party with your dad, head back, go to the Hideaway the following day, do that show, and then breathe. Okay, yeah. Listen, I'm only 46. Let's kill me now. Let's not let me get to 47. I think that's the way to go.
You know what? We might as well invite Boston Dan too while we're at it. Let's get Boston Dan in the car with us. We have all three of us together.
No, because you know what will happen? Because Dan's still pissed about your dad because the Shamrock series where I said no one's ever got me drunker at a baseball game or football game than your dad. And Dan has taken that like offense to that statement for years now. So the two of them will try to like play a quick round of explode Levack's liver. No, it's got to be one or the other. It's got to be one of the, not both. By
the way, kickoff for NC State Syracuse still to be determined. So I like the idea that they have not announced the kickoff yet.
What if it's not ESPN? What if it's Barstool? What if Barstool does their football show there?
Ooh. I'll leave that up to you then.
I'll
leave that up to you.
It's not my team.
All right, we'll figure that out. I haven't got that far. I haven't thought about that. Or Fox shows up. They decide to go from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Fox isn't.
Let's hope Syracuse beats Virginia and Wagner first, and NC State stays undefeated. Because I didn't even mention the NC State part of it. If NC State loses 2 games the next 2 weeks, that's also blown up.
Will you be able to do our annual Torrey Holt interview? Will we be able to get Mr. NC State Torrey Holt like we used to do?
Only if he does it from his car.
I think we have to lie to him at that point. I think we have to lie to him and be like, yeah, we're still on the radio.
No. Torrey, here's the thing with Torrey Holt. Torrey Holt would do a podcast for sure. I know he would do a podcast. I feel as if, maybe I'm wrong about this, he has not done as much media because he definitely, I don't think this is a criticism. He might have been doing a lot of media stuff to get in the Hall of Fame. And he's like, all right, I'm putting this work in because a lot of guys who do the media stuff, it helps their image. And it gets him in. I wonder if Torrey's like, I'm done with the media stuff. Like, I didn't even want to do it. I was doing it to help myself. I got in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's not on TV as much. It might be harder to book him. That sounds like an excuse to me. But yes, I will still try because we love Torrey Holt and he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Actually, yeah, I think you want
to do the day of? Or are saying that Saturday morning to do Torrey Holt live?
I wonder if we could get him. So wait, NC State. Actually, my new head coach in Columbus went to NC State.
Ooh,
Mr. Chris McKinney.
Do we got a graduation date on him? Is he on the late '90s team?
I have no idea. No, I think his first year there was Rivers last year or something like that.
Okay, Phillip Rivers is the guest. No problem. I'll deal with Phillip Rivers. No problem.
I don't think they're still in touch. Because if they were, Rivers would be playing for the Lions this year.
He definitely would. Or one of his kids would.
Yeah, one of the 25 kids. All right. I think that's it, right?
That's it. I'll see you Thursday at Mohawk Honda.
See that my he's got to start proving this. The Levack cow is just popping out babies, buddy.
Oh,
second baby. He should put those in a petting zoo. People would love to pet Levack, or Levack 2 or Levack 3. It'd be big. Big.
Give any advice?
Yeah, don't drive to Columbus and then Orlando and then back to Albany, all within 8 to 9 days. Don't do that. It's not good. It's bad for you. And if you do that, bring eye drops because some kind of allergy got in my eyes and it sucks.